Officials in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho say they're charging a 22-year-old man today in connection with the recent wave of bombings in that area. County prosecutors say the man is believed linked to the self-described Aryan Nation white supremacist group. What some call private armies of the far right are increasingly on the move around the country, and officials are concerned about their latest attempts to gain popular acceptance. CBS News correspondent Richard Schlesinger tells us what the worry's about.
When members of the White Patriots Party marched through Raleigh, North Carolina recently, most people dismissed them as anti-black, anti-Jewish crackpots. But extreme right-wing groups are starting to display political savvy, and that, say law enforcement officials and watchdog groups, makes them dangerous.
They do have the potential to commit violence, to commit harm, and we have seen this from our past investigations. Although publicly, of course, they deny all of that.
Last year, a small army of men led by an activist of the far right made its first stand in central Georgia, defending, of all people, a poor black farmer. Oscar Lorick was faced with a bank foreclosure on his land and was refusing to leave. In what observers think was an attempt by the extremists to appear more moderate by defending a black man, about 30 gunmen from all over the South showed up on Lorick's farm to turn the sheriff away.
Were you glad to see them?
Yeah, I was glad to see it.
Why is that?
Well, I was glad because I would have probably had to move there and for them right then.
It was unreal to believe that we would have a group of people to congregate in force with arms in a small community like we have here.
No shots were fired, but the armed confrontation delayed the foreclosure. Following the publicity about Lorick's case, an anonymous investor bought the farm and allowed Lorick to stay. Experts now worry the extremists will use this nation's troubled farmers as a base for new support.
We really have focused on the farm crisis, and there are groups now that are tired just talking. They're ready to do something. So I think there is a real danger out there.
Larry Humphreys is one of the extremist leaders Pat Clark worries about. He runs the Heritage Library in Velma, Oklahoma, a collection of mostly right-wing works. But Humphreys is no ordinary librarian. He led the armed men on Oscar Lorick's farm and says he'd probably do it again.
If it comes a time and the situation is right, where the farmer's in the right and he does, and his issues are correct, I probably would participate.
Humphreys was the first group to involve itself in more mainstream issues, and recently a group of private right-wing gunmen sent a patrol along the border with Mexico, taking several allegedly illegal aliens into custody.
Crossing this border without documentation is a crime. We were out there to observe, document, and report those crossings.
The immigration issue, long a serious political debate, has also become an issue for the extreme right. Government and private investigators worry the extremists may be trying to appear more moderate by adopting more mainstream issues. But they say underneath a thin veneer of respectability, there lurks the same sentiment. Richard Schlesinger, CBS News, Cochran, Georgia.